Welcome to Talkin VAWLS, episode number 80, brought to you by the Outright Geekery Podcast Network at outrightgeekery.com. We are also live on pretty much every form of social media. We're on Facebook Live, Twitch, Periscope, and as always, right here on YouTube via the SB Network. Make sure you guys go ahead and smash that like button, share out the link. It's the season finale for the football edition of Talkin VAWLS. Let's grow this live chat. Let's have a good time. My name is Boogie Bentley.
I'm Vols JP.
And I'm Dauber. What's happening?
We are at Talkin VAWLS _pod on Twitter. Just search Talkin VAWLS podcast on Facebook. Come find us, connect with us on social media. Guys, stream. Everybody's dropping in late tonight. Where is everybody? Joey.
They're watching the wild card game.
Joey's here and says, is it time for the JP Gatorade shower? Guys, again, make sure you share out the link. Let's grow this live chat tonight. It's a random night for us, but we wanted to do this bowl game show, and we're going to get into that. We're
not a random night. We usually do our post games on Saturday night.
Yeah, well, do we though?
Yeah,
after the game. There's no game today. It's a random time to be doing talking.
We play basketball today.
Let's not talk about that.
Y'all
can get into that Wednesday night. You're not bringing me down tonight. Tonight is positive.
Hey, there was a little bit of positive going on in Thompson Bowling Arena today.
I don't want to talk about it. We're going to talk about the Gator Bowl. Stop. This is not Talkin Balls with Talkin Balls. We're going to get into the Gator Bowl a little bit later. Going to wrap up season finale, man. Season finale for the football edition. But first and foremost, I want to thank everybody that came out to the Model City Tap House for the watch party, for the meet and greet, for the live broadcast. Good times with good people, man. It was fun putting some faces with names. We met some new people, had a good time drinking cold beer and watching the Vols find a way to get that win. What you think, Dauber? I know you had a good time.
Oh, I had a ball. Had a great sandwich. Jumped around a little bit. Man, good game. Set up the backdrop.
It looked awesome.
Look at that setup there. Good times down at the Model City Tap House. There was a bigger crowd over to the left, but I wanted to get the TVs in. Man, good beer. Anybody that didn't join us for the tailgate show, Yeehaw Brewing was serving a honey ale. Look at that. That just sums up. That's just good times with good people. Good times with good people. But Yeehaw Brewing was serving up a honey ale. It was a special. The Tap House, and it's not just for the bowl game. They do it for all Tennessee football games. It's $1 off any beer brewed in the great state of Tennessee. So Yeehaw Brewing has this beer where they get the honey actually from Phil Fulmer. Did you know that, JP?
I didn't know they got it from Fulmer. I didn't know.
Apparently
he keeps bees now.
Yeah.
He's a bee collector.
A beekeeper. Come on.
Beekeeper.
I don't know.
I hate bees. All they do is sting me and I swell up.
Well, we get that delicious honey from Coach Fulmer, and they put it into the brew, apparently. But it was great. UT Tanner is here hanging out. He said it was dirty, but we found a way. UT Tanner was hanging out with us down at the Tap House. Good to put the face with the name. Peyton Salyer is here. Man, I'm struggling. If you can't tell, I left my voice at the Tap House. I think I'm dying. Cody Branch is here. Tammy D's here. Hillbilly Sportsman says, go Big Orange. Who would have thought? Who would have thought? Let's get into it. Let's get into the Gator Bowl. What's up, Basketball 77?
He was there live.
Who would have thought? Who would have thought? That's what me and Dauber were talking about before you jumped in the green room, JP. I watched the replay yesterday, and watching the replay, I'm kind of flashing back. I'm like, there is no way they win this game. No way.
I tell you what, I've thought about this ever since Thursday night. It was a replay of the entire season crammed into one football game.
Yeah. What did we talk about in the tailgate show? Adversity's going to hit. And when it hits, we're going to put on more steam. Like we beat that into the ground, talking about that Pruitt, hot video. And that's exactly what they did. Adversity hit.
Well, here we are. 8 wins. 8 wins. No drama. No excitement all year. The fans were completely reasonable all season. That's what we hoped for, right?
Yeah, just
Hey, 8 wins.
nobody on this podcast ever fought. Just a good time had by all.
What a way to get to 8 wins. What a way to go through the season, start out like we did. What a way to finish that game. I mean, man, just the momentum that we have going into 2020. How can you not be excited? I foresee this team breaking the top 25 for the end of the season and starting off preseason top 25. There's still questions to be answered, but the way that they're playing, let me tell you this. The longest win streak in Power 5 schools apart from the 2 teams still left to play. Did you know that?
Yeah, I did.
That's pretty impressive. I mean,
we got to find a quarterback, though.
I am not going to argue with you there.
We are a competent quarterback away from being a top 15 team.
Oh, absolutely.
But you got to like that quarterback room coming into next season. You got to like it because the freshmen that you have seen experience, right? They're going to bring experience. We talked about it on the tailgate show. Dauber and I both agree that Stroud's gone. There's no way Stroud sticks around because
somebody's leaving. Somebody will leave.
Well, now if Garantano leaves, but that's a whole different can of worms. I don't see that happening.
Him leaving.
I don't either. I think it's his job to lose, and then I think Maurer has solidified that he's better than Stroud, and Harrison Bailey is the next coming of Peyton Manning.
He's the wild card.
He's the wild
card at that point in time.
Well, he's coming in early, and we'll have to see what he does. Hopkins, lacrosse fan, is here hanging out. Says, I couldn't make it to the tailgate, but I wanted to buy a beverage for each of you for an outstanding season of Talkin VAWLS. Highlight without question was JP singing Rocky Top. Highlight for who? Maybe for you.
Hopkins, appreciate that, buddy.
Yeah, for real, Hopkins. We appreciate your support. You're here every single week. Even if you can't hang out for the whole show, you drop financial support, and we appreciate that more than you probably ever know. I hope we get to shake your hand one day in person at a meet and greet, which we are going to be doing next year. We'll have more information on that as it comes around. JP, what was the atmosphere like down there? You actually went to the game. What was it like?
It was really good. I mean, hats off to Indiana. I mean, it was probably at least 70-30 Tennessee fans. I mean, Indiana pretty much, I mean, they didn't fill up all of their section or their side. There was a lot more orange on the Indiana side than there was on the Tennessee side, which I was sitting on. I mean, it was completely orange. The upper deck on the Indiana side, there between probably the 30s and 30s was where most of the tickets were sold. Midfield, the majority of that was orange as well. So it was at least 70-30, maybe even 75-25, maybe even 80-20. But Indiana was loud. I mean, I'm not kidding you. When they went up there in the second half, their fans got loud. I mean, you could tell that they were there to play and they were there to support their team. So hats off to them. I mean, I thought Indiana, Tennessee, if we want to talk about the game and the atmosphere, Tennessee came out. They had an opportunity to put the nail in the coffin and win that football game, and they didn't do it in the first quarter, and they kept giving Indiana just an opportunity to hang around, and Indiana made adjustments in the second half, and they kicked Tennessee right in the face to start out the second half.
They got whipped.
They drove down the field, and it was absolutely then it was game on. And when you got Garantano, who decided to be, his whatever, where he couldn't throw it in the ocean or hit anybody.
Well, the bad thing is,
what he was doing was staring down Jennings when he came in.
Well, yeah,
he was staring down Palmer. I was staring down everybody the whole game.
I was sitting there at halftime, and honestly, I was sitting there thinking, all right, everybody knows that Jennings is going to come out. I mean, you could hear the fans even talking about it in the stands. They was like, "Oh, we're going to release Jennings. We're going to release Jennings." And I'm sitting there thinking, I know what's going to happen. Garantano is going to come out, and the first time that he gets on the field, he's going to stare Juwan Jennings down. If Indiana has any football sense at all, they are going to be all over 15. And sure enough, what's he do? Boop, throws it right into double coverage, and the guy runs it all the way back for a touchdown. I mean,
I want to go back to the first half though, because
let's go.
Tennessee
Dominated.
Could have played a perfect half. You know, it's self-inflicted, man, constantly. Yeah, they get down in the red zone 3 times, and you got 6 points. 6 points out of 3 trips to the red zone. And not only the red zone, to the goal line.
We were sitting there talking at the tap house. And I mean, that first call, going for it on 4th down, I mean, early in the game, I was for it. You know, being
I disagree
aggressive
with it, but I'm fine with it. I'm okay with it.
Yeah. But I looked at him and I said, field goals, that's going to hurt us. We need to come away with 7. And you know, he said right before the half, because let's see, Indiana started driving there, and then they got the ball to start the second half. He said that they're going to go to the locker room up 7-6, and then come out and score to start the second half. That we ended up holding them. It was what 6-3 at half.
Yeah, well. So Indiana had 33.
It was coaching incompetence on their part.
Yeah,
they had it first down and goal at what, the 3-yard line or whatever, and the dude didn't even call a timeout.
No, they're trying to spike it. Yeah, they shot themselves in the foot, but they had 33 yards with 2 minutes to go in the first half.
Yeah,
and that's when JG threw the pick, and that's why when JG threw the pick, that's when I said that's a dauber. I said they're going to go score, and it's going to be 7-6 at halftime. That's 100% what I expected.
I am going to defend JG here. Eric Gray went to the wrong side. That was a screen pass.
You got to eat that, though. You got to eat that.
Yeah, but you know, I guess that in the heat of the moment,
a sack.
He's
the sack. Don't throw it.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, I agree, fellas. I mean, I agree because I'm telling you, we're all find a quarterback. It's going to be the same song and dance next year. It's going to be the same song and dance.
But that's the thing, though. That's the thing.
And when you live on this thin line, you know, 8 and 5 can end up 5 and 7 really, really quick.
Right. But that's the thing, though. You're defending a redshirt junior for.
No, he's defending a freshman over a redshirt junior.
Right.
No,
right.
No. I mean,
but
I'm saying Gray went to the wrong side.
But the quarterback should have seen that.
Well, he should have.
And eaten it, thrown it away. I mean, at worst, take an intentional grounding.
Trust me, I'm not a Garantano apologist at all.
Let's take a breath. Let's take a breath and hit this super chat real quick. Another Tennessee win, and we're all full of piss and vinegar. Peyton Salyer says, $1.99 super chat. Thank you for the support. We appreciate it. It says 3-11 will be Tennessee legends. No doubt, man. How cool was it for Gray to recover the onside kick and then go down there and score the touchdown to go ahead? But then, dude, Henry T, all over the field, all game long, making plays. That kid, Tennessee will be lucky if he stays 4 seasons.
No, he's not. I mean, that kid, as long as he doesn't get hurt, knock on wood, and I am knocking on wood right now, the desk I'm sitting at, he will be done in 3 years. I mean, with the way that the money is in the NFL now, these kids are, and who can blame them? I mean, with all the injuries and stuff that happens, we got 2 more years with Henry T. Next year, he will be an All-American. I mean, think about this. This kid came in during the middle of the summer. He wasn't an early enrollee. He's never even been in the strength conditioning program. Can you imagine what his body is going to look like this time, roll around August in the 8 months that they got to prepare for next season? Can you imagine what kind of physical specimen that he's going to look like? I mean, it's going to be totally different. Henry T will go down in history as one of the best linebackers to ever play at the University of Tennessee, and that is some big words right there.
And to tag on to that, he started the year stepping in as a true freshman, game one with Batuli on the sideline hurt, calling the defense.
I wonder how much that helped him too. Seeing it for himself, being out there by himself, and then being out there with Batuli, playing alongside him, learning from him. How much is that going to help him going into next year? He's going to be ready to be the leader of this defense as a sophomore.
I read
he's going to have to be.
I read a quote from him where he was talking about he hated that this was his last game playing alongside him, but he enjoyed playing alongside of him and learning from him, and not just on the field, but learning to watch film, to study in the film room, and how to go about things like that. So yeah, I mean that's always awesome when you hear an underclassman who is performing at a peak level, still saying that they have room to improve and grow and follow the example of a guy like Batuli, a senior who's putting it out all on the line.
That deep. Go ahead, JP.
I was just going to say, Banks will end up taking Batuli's place next year.
Oh, he's coming back. There's no doubt about it. He's coming back.
He's coming back. As long as the kid keeps his head on straight, he'll be the other starting middle linebacker. I truly believe that.
I know we got kind of
head on straight.
We got kind of negative getting into this, talking about the offense and Garantano.
We're not. But can I talk about?
Let me go positive. Let me go positive. Let me get the positive out.
I got one more negative, or somewhat negative.
I try to spin the podcast, guys. What is happening? What is happening?
Let's talk about this football game and why Tennessee was down 22-9 with 5 minutes to go in the football game.
Because they couldn't keep the quarterback in the pocket.
He's one
of my favorite coaches, and I love him. But Big Jim Chaney had a horrible game up until the last 5 minutes. Horrible.
But did horrible. He though? Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
I understand.
Let me get my point out.
I understand that Garantano missed open receivers. I understand
the end zone.
I understand that.
What happens if he makes those throws and you're talking about sixes instead of threes?
And the guy is inconsistent as can be, and you throw 3 passes at the 3-yard line? Come off of it. Run the dang football.
Wait a minute, though. Wait a minute.
We called that. We called
that. We did. We called it. We knew you'd be irate.
And we said JP is livid right now.
But incompetence. And I love Jim Chaney. I love him. I love him, but it is incompetence. You run the freaking football right there at least once. At least once.
Can I talk yet?
Hey, you're fine. Go ahead.
Okay. While I agree, if Jared Garantano can make a throw to an open receiver, none of this matters.
That's the big word. If.
So do you just run the ball every time?
Well, no, you don't run the ball, but when you're at the 3-yard line and you got it first down and goal at the 3 and you never even try to run the football, that is coaching incompetence.
Whose fault is that?
Jim Chaney failed on that game. He failed. He failed Tennessee.
Maybe he was stuck in line waiting on a hot dog.
Hey,
where the line
play mediator here, Dauber, get in on
this. Honest truth. I waited 45 minutes in line for a freaking hamburger. That stadium is a joke.
I know what your problem is. I know what your problem is. You've been driving. You've been driving for the last 3 days. You've been with Big Sam in the car. He's been telling you everything you're doing wrong, and you're in a bad mood.
I'm not in a bad mood.
I forgive you.
I'm not in. Hey,
no, but we sat there and called it.
My 9-year-old nephew became a Tennessee fan Thursday night. True and true. You ought to have seen. He looked over at me in the fourth quarter and he said, "I'm mad." And I was like, "Oh, I love that. Yes, I love that." And then, I mean, he was jumping up. He was so excited. And I was like, this kid has finally become a Tennessee true fan. I'm done. And that's basketball 77.
It was just getting good, though. It's just getting good. Let me hit this super chat, and then I want to get back to that point. Pecan says, for $2, thanks for the support. We appreciate it. Says, this whole game, I had Georgia State flashbacks. Hey, let me tell you something. When Indiana got the ball back at the end, I looked at Dubber and I said, BYU game is going to come back to haunt us once again. I had no confidence at the end of that game. But that's because we've been through it for 15 years as Tennessee fans.
Well, I've got in my notes right here. The BYU game, we had a 99.6 probability to win and ended up losing. This in the TaxSlayer Bowl, Indiana, they got up to a 97.6% chance to win according to ESPN's metrics. And that was, I think, with 4:21 left was when that started dropping. So, I think things end up working themselves out. Like I said, crazy way to get to 8 wins. But, man, I tell you what, though, Boogie and I sat there and called that. We said JP is ready to fire Chaney.
No.
Oh.
I wasn't ready to fire Chaney.
I bet in that moment, if you could have been texting us, you would have said that.
Here's the thing.
I'm like, run the ball.
They ran the ball every first down of the game. First down of the game.
UT Tanner was sitting right over beside us. And I told him and Boogie, I said, but that's the thing. Would you not have thought Tennessee would have ran the ball probably 3 times or at least once?
Yeah.
Indiana's had a month to look at tape, to check tendencies, and 2 of those plays were wide open.
And how many times do they get down there, JP? How many times do they get down there on the goal line?
Execution.
And we say, throw the freaking ball up to Callaway and let him go make a play. But then 2 can't make the throw.
I understand.
That ain't Chaney. That is player execution.
I understand, but I'm telling you, you got to try to run the football because you got Garantano at quarterback. I mean, that's what I'm arguing.
Let's circle the wagons here. I want to hit this comment because it's good. Elijah Allen says, say what you will, but Tennessee in the past 6 games has closed out games.
Amen.
And found a way, which is something we haven't done in years.
You're correct, Elijah.
I hate to always say that's what we said on. That's what we said on, but we touched on that in the tailgate show. Tennessee found a way to win in November when in past years they have found a way to lose. And that is huge if they're going to turn this ship around and get going in the right direction. Pecan comes in with another super chat. He's throwing money at us, boys. We appreciate your support, Pecan, for $5. He says, if we don't have a new quarterback next season, repeat, JG has proven to be too inconsistent and replace Winky the Pooh already.
Well, and that may be coming. I don't know if he's going to get replaced. I've seen some speculation with running backs coach going to FSU.
That's a done deal.
That's already happened. He's gone.
Well, that speculation that potentially move Winky back to running backs and free up somebody else to maybe even Chaney to coach quarterbacks, and that could get Pruitt another assistant on defense. That's some of the stuff I was reading.
Yeah, but we're already heavy on defense, aren't we? We're already running short on offense.
That was what I thought, which didn't make a whole lot of sense to me. But I mean, you look at the development that Chaney has had with quarterbacks, though, and we talked about this early in the season when Garantano was struggling. Winky's track record, you look at Eric Dickerson when Winky was in L.A. with the Rams. Dickerson was very critical of Winky and his development of Goff out there. Winky leaves and Goff turns into an all-pro. It's undeniable the regression that Garantano had at the beginning of the year. Is it to do with quarterback coach? Is it to do with, we talked about he wasn't the same quarterback that we'd seen after the Missouri game 2 seasons ago.
I'm ready to move on from this kid. And that's a little harsh, but I'm sick of saying, is it quarterback? Is it coach? What's the problem? I think it's him, man. And I hate to say that, but I think it's the kid. I'm ready to see. Look, you got Maurer out there making plays, man. We're thinking he's the next guy, and he's a true freshman.
But yeah,
I know a lot of people are expecting that from Harrison Bailey.
He looked horrible too.
Sure, he's a freshman though.
But he was lucky to not have 2 of his toes picked.
Yeah,
that's why they ended up putting Garantano back in.
You can't compare a freshman to a redshirt junior. You expect more from a redshirt junior.
Yeah, that's my point on that screenplay. You see, the running back went the wrong way.
Right. Which is why I say I'm ready to move on, man. But I just think that it's Garantano's to lose. He's going to come in to the spring as the starter.
I think he has the upper foot, the upper hand, whatever.
I agree.
Because of experience.
But if somebody doesn't beat him out, it's going to be a lot of the same thing that happened this year. And, maybe 8-4 is good enough next year. Well, how
many times have we said this team is a good quarterback away from being a really good football team?
But we're going to have a quarterback that can actually, play for 4 quarters on a consistent basis to have a shot to be able to beat some of these teams that Tennessee is going to be underdogs against, the Oklahomas, the Floridas, the Georgias, and the Bamas. Without having a quarterback that we can depend on and that we feel like is going to be able to make plays, we're not going to beat those teams with the way that Garantano played this year.
So is that your expectation for year 3 is to beat the Georgias, the Alabamas?
No, it's not. It's not. But I definitely think that this football team, the expectation and the hope would be to beat one of those 4.
I would like to see him beat one.
Come off of it. Butch Jones beat Georgia twice. And if Carney Barker
as a different
idiot
Georgia
could beat anybody, then
that was a different Georgia.
Georgia's always had talent.
Yeah, they've always been undercoached too. That's a different Georgia football team.
I'm still not convinced that they're not undercoached, but whatever.
Well, they may be.
Well, this is not a Georgia podcast. I don't care anything about that.
Where's Alan B at? Alan B, you tell me your thoughts on this.
But getting back to this football game here. Tennessee dominated the first half. And we talked about it I remember mentioning it in our bowl preview show last Monday night. If Tennessee doesn't beat themselves, well, what do? We keep jumping off sides.
Lining up off sides.
That's the only way that anything ever was extended in the first half for Indiana, and they only had 69 total yards in the first half. But yet, because of the interception and Gray going the wrong way and Garantano actually throwing the ball instead of eating it, then it's a 3-point game and Indiana gets football. So this team, I don't know what it was. The whole offense, obviously the defensive side of the ball really, really improved as the year went on. And this offensive side of the ball, there were spurts of it. But you talk about so much inconsistency. That's what it was. There was just so much inconsistency that we could never put a complete game together.
But if you could pinpoint it to one factor,
it's quarterback play.
Quarterback play. Yeah. So it's the conversation we just came off of.
Yeah.
It's frustrating. It's frustrating. Well, but
please,
on
Harrison Bailey. Please, Harrison Bailey.
Yes.
Please.
But to
be a stud, please.
Kind of piggyback on what you were saying, talking about the defense and extending Indiana drives. 2 of the first 3 Tennessee drives started with 1st and 20 because of holding.
Exactly.
And
exactly.
You're just shooting yourself in the foot consistently. And then again, they get down there in the red zone. They can't.
And then there's questionable play calling in the red zone. I'll say it again. Questionable. It is questionable.
I'd hate it if Garantano could complete a pass to an open wide receiver in the end zone that your coach dialed up beautifully. How many times did we say on this podcast on defense last year, Jeremy Pruitt dialed up perfect blitzes and put guys in position to make tackles, and they didn't execute. Who do you blame for that? Coaches or players? How many times in that game Thursday night did you see Pruitt and Ansley? I hate to just say Pruitt because Ansley's the defensive coordinator. Dialed up. Me and Dobber just turned each other going, schemes, because that's what it is. Coaching, my man. Coaching. We got to get you preach this more than anybody's. Jimmys and Joes over X's and O's, my man. We got to get the Jimmys and the Joes.
Well, but my argument on that still is, if it's first down and goal from the 3-yard line, I'm handing off and running right up Trey Smith's butt crack. I'm sorry.
And what if somebody misses a block and gets tackled for a loss? Then what do you say?
I like those odds a lot better than putting the ball in Garantano's hands 3 consecutive plays.
My blood pressure's going up. My blood pressure.
I'm just saying.
Won.
Elijah Allen's correct. I mean, it is. And I mean, I don't know what it is about my football teams, but they absolutely are horrible in the red zone. Well, my Redskins have been horrible for years in the red zone. Tennessee, horrible in the red zone.
You go back to the first part of the season. What did Garantano have before Maurer replaced him? 1 touchdown in 4 games worth of red zone attempts. Yeah. I think we'd kicked like nine field goals.
I mean, it cost us the first 2 games.
Yeah.
But he also started this game off. I think he started the game 6 of 8, but he can't complete a freaking pass in the end zone. Robert Neal says for $1.99 super chat, thank you for the support, Robert. He says, hard to call plays when the field shrinks with JG.
That's what I was getting ready to say. Robert Neal, you are 150% spot on.
I'm pretty sure you said that Jim Chaney's calling the wrong plays. Not that it's hard to call plays.
When you have a quarterback of JG's caliber, and I'm not down on the kid. I mean, he is what he is. I mean, he has proved time and time again that he is tough as nails. Hats off to him with it. But the name of the game is to be able to win football games, and he makes it difficult. He makes it difficult. And when you get down there and there's only 10 yards to go and that defense has that short of a field to defend, you got to have somebody that knows where to go with the football and how to place it in there. And he just doesn't have it. I mean, he just doesn't have it. So, and I wish that he did, because I would love nothing more for Garantano to come out next year and be all SEC and contend for the Heisman Trophy. I mean, I would. Is it going to happen? I wouldn't bet on it.
I'm waiting on Dauber to talk.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I'm running out of arguments. I think I need a cigarette.
Okay, we talked about the defense earlier. I think the defense kind of did their job. Indiana was coming in a very hot offense. They were 9th in FBS in third down conversion percentage at just under 50%. And we held them to 4 of 13 on third down. But the thing that we didn't do is contain the quarterback. Man, I saw a couple people talking about that earlier in the chat. Ramsey, we kept him in check throwing the ball. He only threw for 227, but he ran for 54 yards on 17 carries. 6 of those 17 carries went for first downs. And then 1 went for a touchdown. And that's
And I rewatched the game. I rewatched the game yesterday, but I still wasn't really paying attention to this. But I just wonder, because it goes back to Taylor saying, I'm going to pin my ears back and I'm coming for this quarterback because they're going to throw the ball. I wonder if the defensive ends were getting too far upfield, and that's what was letting him scoot out of the backfield, because they had trouble all game long with that. All game long.
I looked at you and said, where's Taylor? We've not heard his name all night long. But then looking at the stats, he ended up with, I think, 1.5 sacks, multiple tackles for losses, I think 6 overall tackles. I mean, a pretty decent game, but it just we didn't seem to get a lot of pressure on the quarterback, and when we did, he was able to move and roll the pocket around and then scramble. And man, I
We
did not.
need. Sorry.
Go ahead.
No.
I didn't see that happening because I thought our speed and athleticism would have shown more than we let Indiana's quarterback shred our defense pretty much.
We need another, and I know that it's anybody'd say this, but we need another John Henderson, another Albert Hainsworth, someone in the middle of that defensive line that can collapse the pocket and can push back. That is what's hurting us is, we got pressure. What did we end up with? 5 or 6 sacks, I think.
I don't think. Well, it's maybe 4 or 5.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. I think it was 5. I mean, you get 5 sacks in a football game. That's dang good. So
but you're down 22-9 with 5 minutes left. That's not good.
Well, exactly, because you got a quarterback that couldn't throw it in the ocean, and you got
an offensive coordinator that don't know what to do.
It just keeps on letting it go.
Golly. They just hired JP. They would have won the national championship.
I got a question. How many touchdowns did Tennessee score Thursday night?
Oh, so
how many? 2?
Who called the play? Who called the play?
Was that by running or passing?
Who called the play? Who called the play?
Was that by running or passing?
Right down the field there before Eric Gray scored. Jared Garantano completed 5 straight passes.
I saw Crouch
to get down the field.
absolutely
Who called those pass
walk
plays?
in the end zone on one, and pretty
Who called
much.
That play? Who called that play?
He finally wisened up and called it. If
Who
he'd done
completed
the first
5
half,
passes to get him down the field? You ignore that. It's easy to sit in your recliner and cherry pick play calls and say they're good. If Eric Gray had ran the ball 3 straight times, you'd be saying it was stupid just because it didn't work. When you call a play and players are in position and they don't make plays, whose fault's that? That's not coaching. That's not coaching. It's not play calling. It's execution.
But when you got a quarterback of JG's caliber, you got to at least try to run it. Sorry.
Well, let's run the ball 400 times a game. Let's just line up like Georgia Tech. And
let's talk about the positives.
I've been trying.
Hats off to the defense. They played well.
B. Adams says there is no way on God's green earth the Model City Tap House could contain the 3 of you during a Vols game. Well, for some reason, the 2 of us up here on the top get along great in game. We never fight in game. It's other times that we fight. It's the common denominator down on the bottom that creates fights in game.
I don't reckon.
I'm just saying. I know you got a lot to get out of you tonight because you didn't get to talk to us during the game. So Jim Chaney sucks. Let's fire him.
No,
Harrison Bailey's going to start.
I love Big Jim Chaney. I mean, the guy looks like me. I mean, I love him.
He's just not as smart as you. That's the problem.
No, he's a lot smarter than me. He's making $1.5 million a year to call football plays. That right there is a heck of a job. I don't care what it is.
But apparently
that is a heck of a job. No, come on now, guys.
I mean, it was calming down and Dauber's stirring it back up. Oh, let's see if we can get everybody fired up tonight on.
It doesn't matter. I mean, I'm not saying that you got to fire the guy. He had a bad game play calling. It was bad. I'm sorry. I mean, it was bad. It was bad. Tennessee had the opportunity to put that game away,
and the players didn't make plays in the red zone.
Make it very, very difficult for Indiana to come back. And I don't think he put our players in the best position to make plays.
Can I take a quick poll? If you feel the Tennessee struggles in the first half fall on Big Jim Chaney, put a 1 in the live chat. If you feel that it falls on Jarrett Garantano's not being able to make completions, put a 2 in the live chat. We'll settle this once and for all. If not, we're going to have a street fight on Bad Street. That's where I live. The further you go, the badder they get. My house is the last one on the left. So come on.
I'm not. No, it's good. It's good. We won. That's all that matters.
You wouldn't think so. We the 3 of us get more heated when they win than when they lose. Right. It's insane.
So let's talk about 22-9. Tennessee has the ball. 10 minutes to go in the game. Garantano, it's 3rd down and 10, I think it is, and he throws short of the sticks. Or he takes the sack or whatever it was. He tripped and fell, whatever it was. I can't remember. I'd have to go back and watch the game, which I haven't.
I got the drives. I got the drives right here. Let me find it. No, that's when he checked down. 3rd and 8, and he throws for like a 2-yard gain or something.
2-yard gain. A lot of Tennessee fans, they start leaving. I mean, they did. I mean,
I thought
we were sitting there.
Well,
and we were sitting there and was
there
like,
were some
these people are
clearing out. There were some people clearing out the tap house at that point as well.
Yeah. So I'm sitting there and I'm looking at the scoreboard and I said, we're down 13 points with 10 minutes to go. Is it likely? No. Is it possible? Sure, it's possible. So I kept on sitting there, and I mean, I'll admit it. I mean, I was very, very, very calm that whole game. I didn't like get mad and throw my hat or say anything like that at all.
You saved it for tonight.
Yeah. I saved it. But then, and look at your drive chart, Boogie.
Sorry, I put in the poll results. Okay.
But then Indiana, we punt, and Indiana gets the ball back.
Right.
All right. Was that the drive that they went 3 and out and only spent like 1 minute and 22 seconds, or was there another drive?
So after JG checked down, Tennessee punted for the defense.
Bennett
made
a huge play on 2nd and 5, if I'm not mistaken.
It's 3 and out the punt.
And speaking of Kevon Bennett, I think that he is going to be a breakout for us. I'm not for sure why that we didn't play more than we did. Every time I saw 95 in the game, he always seemed to be making a play. He always did. And I think next year that he could be a very good defensive end for us. But anyway, that was huge that defense was able to stop them right there. And if I'm not mistaken, Indiana helped us because they threw a pass, which kept us, which stopped the clock, obviously. But then we get the ball back with how much time left at that point?
7 minutes. Dude, who's doing the work here? 7 minutes, 6 seconds to play, down 13.
Okay. And was that the drive that we went down and we finally scored, right?
I can run it down for you. First down, Jarrett Garantano completes a pass to Eric Gray for 11 yards.
And then he throws another one to Gray.
JG to Gray, 22 yards.
Yes.
JG back shoulder throw to Jennings for 23. JG to Chandler for 5. JG to Jennings for 5.
Yep.
And then you get down in the red zone. You get down to the red zone. 2 throws back to back, incomplete. What happens? What happens in the red zone?
This team did not score their first touchdown in the game until there was 4 minutes and 21 seconds left.
Yeah.
Indiana, again.
That was the run, by the way.
Paid Tennessee a huge favor because it's 3rd and 10.
And
that's when they get called for defensive holding.
Yeah.
And then you go Gray crouch touchdown.
Yeah.
22-16. And this is what I wanted to talk about. So Tennessee scores the touchdown there. Crouch punches it in. 22-16 with a few minutes to play. 3 timeouts. Would you guys kick the onside kick there?
I said to you, do we onside kick here? You said no way.
No way.
Yeah,
I would have done
I did too.
You said no way. Kick it deep.
I was sitting down there with my dad, and he was like, "Do you onside it here?" And I was like, "No." I said, "You don't onside it." I said, "Look at the scoreboard." I said, "We got all 3 timeouts left." I said, "You kick this thing deep." Well, evidently that's what Indiana thought so too. I mean, just an absolute perfect onside kick. I mean,
did you see what Pruitt said about it though? They asked him why he coached so aggressive. He said,
"Because
a
we were down."
A few years ago, I was coaching high school football. I played to win out here.
Yeah.
Well, that's I saw. I think Rucker tweeted. Somebody asked, "Why did you call for the onside kick there?" He said, "Because we were down a score."
Yeah. That's what
that's classic.
The ESPN chick asked while they were doing the trophy presentation. We're sitting there in the stands, and he was like, "Well," he said, "because we were down a score."
I mean, that's great.
I never get mad. It's hard to get mad at an aggressive call. When you asked me before time, Robert asked me before They went for it down there on the goal line in the first quarter. I said, absolutely not. Kick the field goal every single time. And then the onside kick, he asked me the same question. I said, no, kick it deep. But when he does it, I admire that, man. I admire a coach that has more guts than I have. I admire
what did he say that they'd probably practiced that 500 or 600 times since the start of fall camp? I mean, that was obvious. I mean, it was just absolutely perfect. We were sitting there, live watching it, and was like, oh my gosh. And then they start showing it on the replay screen, which I'm sure, watching it at home, they probably showed it 15 times compared to what we saw on the replay screen down there at the stadium. But I'm sitting there thinking, oh my gosh. And I'm sitting there thinking, I don't think that there's enough that they could overturn it. Because
I said to Boogie, I said, it's Tennessee. They're going to say he touched it before it went 10 yards.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's what I thought just as soon as they said that they were going to replay it. I was like, did this thing go 10? Did it go 10? But there was never really a definitive video, angled to really show whether or not that Gray actually touched it before it crossed 10 yards or not. But, I mean, just an absolute perfect.
No one special brings up a good point. And this is why when I rail on JP about play calling, that's what it's about. Because he says, be honest, if we don't recover that onside kick, we would be calling Pruitt an idiot. And that's what I'm saying. When you go back to those offensive play calls on the goal line, if they run it 3 times there, everybody's calling Big Jim Chaney an idiot because they don't score. If they throw on first down and score, nobody says a word. It's just great throw, Garantano. Good job, touchdown, move on. But coaches get ripped on, and that's why they make millions. It is what it is.
On the other side of that, though, I mean, it's a gamble. You have the element of surprise right there because you're not expected to call that with almost 5 minutes left, all 3 of your timeouts. It's one of those things that's a game changer. And I mean, to be the defensive minded coach that he is, that's what he's going for right there. He's rolling with the element of surprise rather than, you're down a score and there's 2 minutes left. But he had all 3 timeouts. If they didn't get the onside kick right there, he's putting it on the defense, rolling with the defense. They're going to get the ball back. So I mean,
it was definitely a huge gamble.
Yeah, I mean, regardless, it's a huge gamble.
Well, yeah, because
whenever you call it, 4 minutes left in the game, 2 minutes left in the game, it just is. But
because you don't recover that, and you give Indiana a short field, and if they kick a field goal, they're up 9 then.
Well, we gave them a chance to kick a field goal.
Well, no. I mean,
I know.
But but not on that particular series. Since obviously since we recovered, but I mean, but I know we've been arguing a lot on this, but
not arguing.
That's what we do.
No, we just been having some good conversation. But you have to be proud of the way that this team kept their composure, stayed in the football game, and continued to fight and found a way to win. I mean, at the end of the day, all that matters is being the team that comes out on top on the scoreboard, and the Vols did it. I'm very, very relieved that they did, because I would have hate to have lost to a mediocre Big Ten football team. I do think that Indiana played probably better than they probably are. I think that they were very, very well coached, and I thought that they really, really came with a lot of intensity. I was really surprised with the way that they're maybe I shouldn't be, but I really thought that their defensive line played well. I mean, I thought that they gave us fits, and I guess that's a little disheartening. We have got to have Wanye Morris, Darnell Wright, whoever is the tackles next year. We have got to have those guys step up. And I understand both of those kids were true freshmen, and hopefully I think both of them still have some bad weight on them. and hopefully with the next 6 to 8 months in the weight room with Fitzgerald, that will help. But we've got to have those two kids take the next step next year. We
Yeah.
have got to.
But
I
you're talking
think
about
it's obvious.
two kids, like you said, true freshmen coming in starting in the SEC. That's a big step up from high school football.
Which Calbert played right tackle. I think his snap count was 3-1 versus what Wright got. Which I know Wright finished the season with that bum ankle, and I noticed him down there. I can't remember. I think it was in the second quarter. I guess it was that he was in, and I noticed that he was limping around and favoring that ankle again. So maybe that had something to do with it. Of course, K'Ron Calvert actually started. So, but what about the news with Kennedy? He announced right after the game that he has been granted his 6th year. I mean, that's absolutely huge. I mean, I know Kennedy's probably not an all SEC center.
He's a good football player.
He is, and that center position is so important, making the calls and, making sure that the other guys know who that they're supposed to block when that defense lines up and stuff like that. So having him come back next year for that 6th year is absolutely huge, I think, for this offensive line. And hats off to that kid too, because right after that Vanderbilt game, here he has knee surgery and goes in and has that surgery. And, most people were saying that, that he wasn't going to play, and the kid ends up playing the entire game. I mean, that's just awesome. With all of these kids or players now that end up skipping these bowl games and stuff because of the NFL and all that, I mean, you really got to admire a kid like that that's had 2 major knee injuries. And, thankfully the NCAA didn't pull some crap like they normally do and deny this kid a 6th year. But I'm telling you what, you really got to admire a kid like that continues to fight through the adversity like that and plays, basically 30 days post surgery.
Well, let's continue to build on that conversation. You got two 5-star freshmen on that offensive line. They're only going to get better. With this coaching staff, I fully believe they're only going to get better. Now we know that Brandon Kennedy's back. Who else do we want to come back next year?
Big Trey.
What if? I know everybody's talking about him waving the flag. Me and Dauber were talking about it before we went live. Looked like his last game. But what if? What if Big Trey comes back? How much is that going to mean to this football team if they could return those 4 offensive linemen? You're returning Eric Gray, who I think is going to be.
For those of you that didn't see it,
Eric Gray next year is hands down going to win that running back position. I fully believe that. Yeah, you're losing Jennings and Cal, but I think look at how Keaton stepped up. Look at how I think this team has talent at wide receiver. This team is a quarterback away from being able to do something special next year. A quarterback away.
Well, I mean, it's going to take somebody stepping up and replacing the leadership that we saw with Batuli and
Henry
Jennings
T. I think Henry.
Warrior.
I have no doubt Henry T. can replace that. I think McCullough played good. Thursday night. And weren't they talking about playing him at safety over Warrior at one point? And I know it's ifs, ands, and buts, all that candy and nuts. But I'm excited
to see what Keyshawn Lawrence can do.
I'm excited about 2020. I'm excited. This year, what do we expect this year? We didn't know what to expect. I'm starting to buy in to Jeremy Pruitt as a football coach.
Well, I can tell you right now, I started the season saying just make a bowl game, which was 6 wins. Well, I won't be happy with 6 next year.
No, nobody will.
This football team better at least finish 8-4.
8 wins.
They need to at least win 8 ball games next year. That would be 1 more than they did in the regular season this year. And then you can still continue to build upon that. You can still do that. I still feel like that it would be monumental if this football team could somehow, some way beat one of the 4 big opponents next year, whether it's Oklahoma, Georgia, Florida, or Bama. in my opinion, this football team needs to find a way to beat one of those 4. And if they do that, they could win 9. Or in my opinion, they should win 9 football games.
2 of those are on the road, 2 are at home. You got Oklahoma and Georgia on the road.
Yes.
Bama,
and then you
Florida,
got Bama and Florida at home. Yep. Yeah, which it sounds like Bama's bringing pretty much all of their seniors are coming back, which I did see one of their offensive tackles announced today that he's going to the draft. But it'll be interesting. I think Tua is supposed to announce Monday whether he's going to the NFL or coming back for his senior season. I think that's very interesting to see what he ends up doing. And obviously with him, that changes the whole complexion of that program.
Absolutely.
Not say that they won't have somebody to step in, and of course,
his little brother.
Yeah, but his little brother didn't start this year when he went down. That Mac Jones kid did, and then they got that 5-star, that other kid that's coming in, who everybody claims is better than Tua. So who knows? But anyway, again, it's not an Alabama podcast. This is the Tennessee Vols podcast, and I don't want to talk about them.
Well, we're about to wrap this thing up. JJ Banks said in the chat, "Man, I'm gonna miss this show." Well, guess what? You can still hang out with Dauber and JP every single week for Talkin Balls, covering the disappointing basketball team, but they'll be here hanging out. So just be looking in the feed. Follow us on Twitter at @TalkinBalls_pod. Find us on Facebook, Talkin Balls Podcast. Every day that they go live, I will be posting it. I'll be spreading it out, letting you guys know. So be looking for that. Come hang out, enjoy the basketball show. As far as the future of Talkin Balls, we've got some ideas planned for covering the roster heading into the spring. We'll do a podcast for the orange and white game. We're talking about doing a tailgate next year for you guys to come hang out in Knoxville with us. We're going to be doing another meet and greet at the Tap House. Got lots of stuff planned for you guys. Lots of stuff. Make sure you are subscribed to the SMB Network on YouTube. Also, Talkin Balls official merchandise. Could be going through some changes next year. Not 100%, but maybe. So if you want one of these original shirts, the original Talkin Balls logo, hoodie, or T-shirt, or the cartoon shirt that Dauber's got on, I can't promise you these will be around next year. So if you want one, the links are in the description. They'll be around for at least a few weeks until we decide what we're going to do. But jump down in the description and pick one of those up if you want it. But I think that's going to wrap it up for episode number 80 of the Talkin Balls podcast. For Dauber Greer, for Balls JP, go Big Orange.
How like we poets sat in our chains, soaking moonlit falls, unbroken past this inundated orb that we draw home, and it's night and I'm alone and